this morning, we're learning more about long COVID, which is a problem. So this is, while we're talking about the booster shots, we're learning a lot more now about long COVID and its mysterious effects on the brain, according to new data out this morning. Really troubling in the human body and the brain specifically. So, as we separate this Omicron from the people who've had actual COVID, right? Because their Omicron, they're saying, is very mild and it's just like a cold. But actual COVID is to be taken very seriously. It's estimated that 10 to 30% of people who've had COVID experience a range of symptoms, including fatigue, cognitive problems, shortness of breath, sensory issues such as numbness and tingling. And also, we're now learning about internal vibrations and external tremors, which are less common and have received less attention. Doctors are saying that we're seeing we're seeing people with long-term COVID effects on the whole body. Listen to this doctor on this exact issue.
He thought that this was one and done, meaning if you survive the infection, that you would become normal, and this is definitely not the case now. The other thing that I think is surprising is how many organ systems that this virus is actually affecting. Pulmonary, meaning the lungs, cardiac, the heart, neurological, and also psychological.
That's why a group of patients is now pushing for longer-term research about these tremors. Specifically, a group of long COVID patients found that among them, 40% of them reported experiencing tremors, 30% had vibrating sensations. Anybody watching right now who's had these experiences? I mean, they have whole groups that you can seek help on this issue, by the way, because a lot of these people, they're like, I thought I was alone. I didn't know that other people had this. And that's what we're hearing from some of these people who've had these long COVID symptoms. Physicians at the Mayo Clinic say that patients in the first 3 months after their infection symptoms that are either very debilitating, and others are finding it just more of a nuisance. Some of it, though, like totally debilitating. They can't even go on with their normal work schedule or anything because of this virus. Here's one of the patients and what her experience was.
Of course, memory fog, memory loss, joint pains in different places.
All over her body. Doctors
don't know. Eric Clapton said it was like electricity was going to the tips of his fingers and he could not use his hand. He said it was like jolts of electricity.
But that was from the vaccine. That was not from an infection. These are people who were infected.
These are people who actually got it without. I don't know if they had a vaccine or not, but these people specifically got COVID and have the long form symptoms of it. So I wonder if there's any similarities between the Clapton stuff and people who've had these like tremor feelings. Doctors, though, say right now they don't have any idea what's causing these symptoms. They think that it might be result of an autonomic nervous system dysfunction, which is common among long COVID patients, or damage to the nerves. So we don't know.
Has anyone asked them if any of them are vaccinated, or are every one of these people talking about this unvaccinated?
Well, you would presume that the first sufferers of long COVID were before the vaccine existed.
Right.
And that was being reported long before that. So it would be interesting to see if people who were vaccinated were less likely to experience long COVID. There was some research early on, but it's still, I know it feels like the pandemic's dragging on forever, but it's still pretty early to know a lot of those things.
Yeah. We still don't know. The bottom line is we don't have all the data in, right? We're still like scrounging for the data, or when we ask for data, we're not given the data, right? Or it's being held to.
Or they'll be like, you can get the data in 2025 or 2055. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So COVID patients, or, they're seeing that they have this damage to the nerves. Others say it could be a problem with processing in the brain as well. So not fun on those stories.